Hello everyone and welcome to our My Team career mode, where this time out we are heading to Mexico. But before we do that, it is time to add a new sponsor to the car. So we have got enough team acclaim level now that we can choose a third sort of small sponsor, obviously outside of our main sponsor. We're going to go with this one, where the objective is to score 5 Constructors' Championship points during a race weekend, which I don't think should be too difficult for us. We're also going to add on an extra upgrade for a front downforce, which will come before Brazil. And we have had a rear downforce upgrade coming for this race, which is fantastic. Qualifying, very wet, as you can see. There's even a lightning bolt in the middle of it. So it's going to be interesting to see just how wet that is. However, it is going to be dry at the end of it. So we'll probably be on softs for the end of Q3. And in terms of performance, we are really close to Red Bull now. And McLaren is right up there with us as well. We are also probably going to have to take an engine penalty, because the only remaining ICE that isn't orange is already on 49%. So we're probably going to want to use that in practice. So we are going to have to take an engine penalty and get ourselves a new one. That should last us the last few races. We are pretty much right at the end of the season now, so we should be okay in terms of penalties. But let's go to qualifying, see what we can do. So coming out the garage here, you can see the confirmation at the top that says we have a 5-place grid penalty for our component change, and it is absolutely soaking. Just look at that track. It is so wet. This is insane. At least this time we actually have wet tyres, and not like USA last time out. If you haven't seen that, go and watch it. It was an absolutely fantastic race, and we got a very good result for the team. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, you definitely should go and watch that if you haven't yet. But at the end of that, we did have rain that was as bad as this, yet we were racing on it on hard tyres, so it was basically like an ice rink. But at least this time it is very wet, and it still feels like a ice rink, but we are on the wet tyres, so we are definitely on the correct tyres for this. Kevin Magnussen sets a 1:30.3, so that's kind of a banker lap, as we set a purple sector 2. So seems like we're okay. I mean, in terms of performance, you would have seen earlier on the graph, we really should be right up there now. We've protected all of our upgrades as well, so by next season I reckon we could have a championship potential car, maybe. I mean, we are winning races, we are getting podiums, so it is possible. We crossed the line and set a 1:30.4, so at the moment we are splitting the two McLarens. But I reckon this track is only going to get quicker. But I mean, we'll have to see. At the end of that, you've got Jenson Button, did a 1:30.5, so he's about a 10th down on us. This is Q1, and I was feeling optimistic, so I just skipped forward and didn't do another run. And we only really just got through on a 1:30.4. Our teammate did pretty much like a 1:28.8, so yeah, he definitely did ramp up. But into Q2, still raining, but not as much, so we are on to the inters. We manage a 1:27.0 compared to Leclerc with a 1:26.2, so yeah, the car is definitely still off the pace in terms of the proper race leaders, like you know, Mercedes and especially Ferrari. But yeah, we are gaining time here. We're about 3.5 tenths up coming to this final sector. Our teammate has managed a 1:26.8, so we are really only looking for a couple of tenths. And I mean, this is only Q2, so we've only got to get the top 10. It really doesn't matter if we end up 9th or 10th, as long as we get through, that is all that matters. Now on to the main straight here. We crossed the line with 1:26.6, so that puts us P6 at the moment. Again, I decided that's probably enough, and it was, because we stayed P6 with our teammate P7, so that is us up into Q3. So into Q3, the chart does show that it is currently raining and people are out there on inters, but it does show that it is going to be dry within about 5 to 10 minutes, so I think there's really no point going out and doing a run on inters. We're just going to wait until the end and then go out on the softs, as we have done, to try and set a lap time, and hopefully it should be fine. We've got 5 minutes left, and there is no rain. There is no rain. The track is fully dry, so this should be pretty much the quickest that it's going to be, as we immediately set a purple sector 1, almost 2 seconds quicker than Verstappen, as you would expect. So yeah, we're not really going to know how fast this is until everyone else has come out, but we've done a 1:16.4. Again, no idea how fast it is. Button, our teammate, is coming out of it on the softs, and so is Russell. Or have they already set times? I don't know. Anyway, they're at the top left, and you can see they are second and third, and we are currently the quickest. I don't know if they came out like while it was still spitting, maybe. But on our final run, we are about 10th up, and we crossed the line with a 1:16.284, which is still good enough for the top for the time being. But obviously, not everyone has actually done their laps yet, and unfortunately, we haven't got enough fuel to be able to go around and do a third. To be honest, I think the tyres would have been worn enough that it wouldn't have mattered. But after that, everyone else did their laps, and in the end, we are 7th, which will be 12th after our grid penalty.
Welcome to Mexico City, the most populous city in North America and home, of course, to the Mexico City Grand Prix. It's a sellout crowd as usual here at one of the shortest circuits on the Formula One calendar, and who, I wonder, will they be cheering on the top step of the podium today? We're a long way above sea level here in Mexico today, which could pose some cooling issues for the cars as they make their way around this 2.6 mile lap. 17 corners with top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and watch out for potential overtaking into turns 1 and 4. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And starting next to them is George Russell. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Perez, Sir Lewis Hamilton and Norris, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Bottas and Paul. They've taken a grid penalty. Fernando Alonso, Button, Kevin Magnussen and Vettel. Ocon, Latifi. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll. Gasly, Albon, Mick Schumacher. They've taken a grid penalty. And Guan Yu Zhou. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So it looks like quite a few of the other drivers also got grid penalties. So it means that we actually start P10 on the grid. So we've got slightly more chance of getting into the points. Our teammate, unfortunately, has taken yet another engine penalty. So he's all the way down in P12. We really do need to focus on upgrading the durability because, I mean, we're able to just take an entire new engine set in a couple of races and then we're good. But unfortunately, the AI don't follow that method. Anyway, we have started on the softs as there is carnage going on lap 1 immediately. Somebody has lost a wing. Leclerc goes very wide. I think he's already won a championship, hasn't he? So it doesn't really matter. But we get past Bottas as well. And next up would be Max Verstappen in the Red Bull as Bottas tries to send it back down our outside, but we are not having any of that. So we give him a massive squeeze and basically send him straight into Kevin Magnussen. So hopefully they end up fighting quite a bit and we can build a gap. But as I was saying, yeah, Max Verstappen next up in the Red Bull. The car performance chart says that we should be quick enough to be able to be attacking him. And then ahead of him is Daniel Ricciardo, who is in the McLaren. He hasn't been the quickest McLaren driver out of him and Lando Norris, but he does have a quick car underneath him. So it might prove a little bit tricky to get past him as Hamilton and Perez are now fighting side by side. Hamilton sends it down the inside as we lock up. Magnussen thinks he might try and send it down the inside on us, but he does not. And then Perez actually pulls off into the pits. So I'm guessing that front wing from the first lap must have been from him. But that promotes us up into P7. Verstappen is thinking he might be able to get past Ricciardo while Hamilton is doing it as well. So they go 3 wide into turn 1. That is not going to end well. Hamilton and Ricciardo make contact, and that allows us to just send it down the inside on Verstappen. We make a little bit of contact with his rear wheel, but seems like we got away with it, and that is us up into P6 as they're fighting once again, Ricciardo and Hamilton, which allows us to capitalise on that and squeeze our way past Hamilton, who got quite out of shape there. On to lap 4. We are in P5. The soft tyres that we started on seem to be doing us well as we are chasing Ricciardo here now. We go down his outside. He covers it off, but he goes deep, and we are able to get the old switcheroo there. And that is us now into P4. Crazy. Given we started in P10, by lap 6, we are now in P4. Like I say, we are helped by the fact that we are on softs. Pretty much everyone else, I think, is going for a medium to hard strategy, but we've decided we're going to go for a softer medium, as there is a yellow flag for Lance Stroll. He is in the pit with a broken tyre there, and it did actually say that he had been disqualified for going too slowly. which is a bit weird because if you look at the map, he is actually right at the back. He's still on the track, even though he's been disqualified, which is a bit strange. Hamilton is trying to get past us, but we defend very nicely and keep our 4th position. The guys up the road are quite far away. Carlos Sainz 4 seconds, Norris 5 seconds, so it's going to be quite tricky for us to be able to try and get towards them, especially when Hamilton is this quick. I didn't think the Mercedes would be this quick. I mean, they are the second fastest car, I suppose, but the gap between us and them isn't that big on the chart, so I am surprised that they are this quick. We have got a slightly higher downforce setup on at the moment, because of the wet quali, as once again we pulled the same trick as we did with Ricciardo, just let Hamilton go deep into the braking zone and pull the old switcheroo. So, on to lap 9, there is a yellow flag. What is this for? What has happened? It looks like it's a McLaren going very slowly, as Kevin Magnussen is out of session, and there is a safety car. So this is Daniel Ricciardo, I think, and he has a big spin, and Kevin Magnussen just smacks straight into the back of him. Looks like Ricciardo has been able to survive that crash, but if you look on the leaderboard, he is in P6 with a 5-second penalty. We decided to take the opportunity to go into the pits and switch on to some hard tyres, as Lewis Hamilton is out of session because he comes across the safety car and just smacks into the back of him. Okay, that is good old Codemasters AI for you. So that is our main rival out of the race, the guy that we was racing very, very hard. Now, we have come into the pits, obviously so has Daniel Ricciardo, but I don't think anyone else has, which is quite strange because you can definitely get the hards to last to the end here, and they all started on mediums, so there's no reason they can't, so it's a bit weird. They're all going very slowly through this section, so we take the opportunity to get ourselves past Mick Schumacher and back up into P5. Oh, it looks like George Russell as well is on the hard tyres, so we will be battling him. For some reason there was blue flags, not sure why. It is... nobody's getting lapped as far as I'm aware, so that is a strange one. But up in front is Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri. He is on the mediums. He is yet to pit, so he'll be having to do at least one more pit stop in this race. Obviously we'll have to see if we get any more safety cars or any more crashes. We put on the overtake. We are getting very close. Do we go for a big old dive down the inside? We do. It surprises Yuki there a little bit. He gets out of the way, and we make sure we have got the position by giving him basically no room on the curb and running him off the road. But seems like the FIA were looking the other way when we did that, and we do not have a penalty. Sainz into the pits, which promotes us into P3. Lando Norris is currently leading the race. Bear in mind, again, he is on the medium, so he's going to have to pit. It looks like up ahead, Russell is going to be trying to get past him. As they go side by side, Norris goes deep. Will we be able to get past him into this DRS straight? Unfortunately, we don't pick up the DRS, but we've had a much better exit than him. We're using all the overtake we can. We look to go down the outside. We think about letting him go deep, but in the end, we don't need to because we are past. That is us up into P2. And this is an actual P2. It's not like we've got to stop again and then we'll drop down. We are genuinely in P2, and there is basically nobody behind us who can fight us for it because everyone else is going to have to go into the pits. On to lap 17. Norris is trying to get back at us again. But are we going to do the old switcheroo once again? Yes, we are. I think we have figured out how to stop the AI getting past us into turn 1. You just go on the outside, let them run deep, and then just cut back through them. So, easy work for us. Lap 18, we are still in P2, and the nearest person that could ruin that for us is Daniel Ricciardo, the man that had a spin, got crashed into, got a 5-second penalty, yet because he went into the pits during the safety car, he's now P3. Not too bad. Very good strategies from ourselves and the McLaren driver there. On to lap 22. Looks like Leclerc has managed to get past Ricciardo. He is about 6 seconds behind us as we have a spin. Now this could ruin our podium chances here if we can't recover very quickly. Here is a replay. We just get on the curb, get a little bit too much on the power, and we just spin. we do actually manage to have a very nice 360 and pull away as quick as we possibly can. We have lost a chunk of time now. Russell is over 10 seconds up the road and Leclerc is only 2 seconds behind us. I mean, we've got 13 laps to try and keep him behind us. I don't think it's going to happen. On to lap 27 and he's already on our tail. There's really not much we can do. That Ferrari is rapid. We're using our overtake, but it's not going to work, I don't think. In the end, we do send it down the inside, and I think we've just about managed to retain it, but honestly, I think it's really all for nothing, because the more time we spend battling him, the more time, well, I was going to say, the more time the likes of Ricciardo and Verstappen can get to us, but somehow they are now 9 seconds behind us. I'm guessing they've been fighting each other very hard as well. On to lap 28, Leclerc is trying the same thing once again, and in the end we just decide that, you know, it's inevitable, it is going to happen. We might as well use him for the next 8 or so laps, as our teammate is in the pits. Why? Has he got damage or something? Oh, that means he is most definitely not getting points for us. But as I was saying, we might as well use Leclerc to basically just drag us along for a little while to try and solidify the position. And that's pretty much what happened. On the lap 36, he is pulled away, as you would expect, 5 seconds up the road. Sainz has managed to work his way through the field somehow and is up into P4. Verstappen is nowhere to be seen. He's right at the back of the grid. Not really sure what happened with him, but we crossed the line in P3 for another podium. So there you have it. That was the Mexican Grand Prix. We somehow managed to get ourselves on the podium again, going from P10 to P3. Very much helped out by the safety car, I think. If that wasn't there, I think our max position would probably be P5, and it definitely would have been some pretty heavy fighting with the likes of Daniel Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton. We move ourselves up to P4. So we are above both Red Bulls, and now we're above Lewis Hamilton. Jenson Button is still P8. So, you know, he is still technically best of the rest, I suppose. And then in terms of constructors, Daniel Ricciardo's pretty decent race position there. He has managed to elevate McLaren above Haas now. So that is certainly going to make the McLaren team happy. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that fantastic stuff. And we will see you next time in Brazil.